Alright guys, we read a Reddit post about a user known as Customer Price. He said stop banning anti-dive and start banning more dive. He says while playing on Grandmaster 2 Smurf, I started to notice a growing trend with this game. Everyone, whether you're playing dive or not, wants to ban things like Penny, Hulk, Emma, etc. But nobody wants to ban a person to kill either. Even when I'm on Celestial 1 in main, everyone will hop in comms and start talking about peeling, but nobody will be the one to step forward. My advice is anyone but little Celestial 1, start banning things like Black Panther, Magic, and start going for common bans that the enemy team most likely are going to ban anyway. And also, stop banning characters that can help the team peel. Use a vote to remove as much dive as possible. That way nobody gets stuck to babysitting the back lines and your team gets to function more smoothly. He then said, yeah, but dude, Black Panther sucks, okay? Yeah, he does suck, but in solo queue, there's no guarantee that your teammates will be as component as you to deal with them. So you have to treat every game like a supply stack with a bunch of special needs children, and act like everyone is afraid of their character. You can handle Black Panther, but your two support players that play once per week probably aren't able to. Now, there's a growing trend in Marvel Rivals that's hurting ranked matches more than helping them, especially in solo queue. People are banning the wrong characters for the wrong reason. This Reddit post by Customer Price explains all of it. Everyone wants to avoid backline pressure, but nobody wants to play the roles to help prevent it. As of right now, the current ban mentality is backwards. For example, players commonly ban characters like Penny, who is a strong zone denial and backline peel character, and they also ban Hope, who is a cross control tank with great disruption. And another character they ban is Emma, whose utility and mind control stop aggressive pushes. But the irony about this, these are all anti-dive tools. Instead of banning them, we should be using them. Meanwhile, hybrid dive heroes like Black Panther, who has the same ability and huge burst potential, and Magic, who teleports in and shreds backline, is hard to pin down and gets left untouched. That's the problem. People ban what they don't understand or personally find annoying, and I would actually bring the average team comp and rank. Now you will notice in high games like Celestial 1, nobody wants to play the peeling role, which I can understand. Now you'll also hear support players saying we need to peel, but when the match starts, they're trying to do tanks or chase kills. Now the few heroes that can peel like Penny or Hope get banned, and then nobody picks up anything they can compensate, which leads to teams getting torn apart by coordinated dive comps while everyone blames each other. Now, there are a couple things that can be changed, like for example, players can start banning smart and not safe. For example, they shouldn't waste bans on people that's most likely going to get banned. Also, another thing they should do, they should focus on what the team can't handle, not what they personally dislike. And for the second thing I say, Magic, Black Panther, even Healer can solo carry games if your backline is unsupported. If you're not coordinated as a team, you're better off banning what punishes uncoordinated teams, aka dive. Now for a third thing they should do, they should explain like a team and not a guide. Sure, they can handle something like Black Panther or counter Magic, but for your supports, they play twice a week and don't know what their abilities are half the time, so you should ban for them and not just for you. Now another thing I suggest for improvement is they should encourage pulling picks. They need to stop banning the few heroes that make backline survival possible, and they should create comps where pulling isn't a burden. Alright guys, we had a Reddit post by the user known as no_peanut_3289. He says, it amazes me that people rather leave the game and switch characters to counter. Now he says, I know this has been talked about before, but it amazes me that this happens. If the other team has flying characters, then Magic and Black Panther on our team doesn't help, but they would rather leave because we're losing rather than switch characters. If the other team has two tanks and we only have one tank, clearly we have some issues. Yet people would rather leave, they have a DPS switch to a second tank to help. If we are struggling with heals, people would rather leave than switch with different supports. Sorry, but having Adam and Mantis as our only healer doesn't help. I know some would say that not everyone is good with multiple characters, I know I'm not, but at least I'm trying to switch characters instead of just leaving. Now, the post by the Reddit user reflects the core issue playing in Marvel Rivals solo queue. Players prioritize comfort picks over adaptability, even if it means losing or rage quitting instead of just adjusting. Now, the Reddit user gives 3 clear examples of solo queue problems, the first one being poor counter picking versus flying heroes. Like for example, Magic Black Panther can't contest air threats. Another example he gives is a bad frontline balance, 1 tank versus 2 is a losing formula. And for a third problem he points out is weak support synergy. Adamant Mantis doesn't equal sustainable healing. Now, some of you may ask, why do people refuse to switch? And there could be a lot of reasons, not excuses but reasons. The first reason I can say is a lack of a hero pool. Many players only practice 2 or 3 characters if they're useless outside of them. Now another reason could be pure underperformance. People worry they'll do worse on a counter pick than on their main. In reality, a bad matchup on your main equal to worse outcome than an average performance on a counter. And I'll say for the third reason, some players can be more focused on getting the stats or clip performing than winning. Others just give up early, seeing switching as a waste of time. Now some people may ask why this is a huge problem in Marvel Rivals. Well, I say uncountered comp snowball in Marvel Rivals 2 tanks can steamroll 1 tank, flyers dominate grounded teams, and low healing equal a collapse. Also, in a fast time to kill game like Marvel Rivals, conversation flaws get punished instantly. When 1 or 2 players refuse to switch, the entire match can become unwinnable before the second team fight. Now, this can be improved for the players and the deals. For players, I say they should learn 1 flex pick per role, even if you're a match main, have a second healer and a second tank item in your back pocket. And with number 2, I say players should stop thinking of counter picking as giving up. You're not surrendering, you're just outsmarting the enemy. And the third thing I can say, you gotta realize it's not about you. This is a team shooter. Winning sometimes means carrying, and other times it means sacrificing egos to fill gaps. Now for the developers, they should add a role-based performance reward system. They should reward players who switch roles and contribute to a win, like healing more than 3,000 after switch to a support. And they should also track and encourage hero variety. They should let players know how many heroes they won games on, like a flex badge almost. And for the third thing I say is they should eventually introduce role queue. Now I'm not entirely sure about role queue just yet. Now my final thought on this is people would rather lead and switch roles because the game doesn't encourage them to learn how to win, only how to survive. Alright guys, we have another Reddit post about a user known as OK_cup_5454. He says Moon Knight is the most underrated character in the game. Now, just from this title, he is right, because I have played against Moon Knight before, and let me tell you, he is powerful. He is too powerful. I think Moon Knight might be the new meta. Now the Reddit user then goes on to state, I almost never see anyone playing Moon Knights, and I really have no idea why. I have a 67% win rate with Moon Knights and compared to Plat and Diamond, and I always get a really high damage upon hits with him. I know it doesn't really matter too much because he's a stat pattern, but he's also great with gameplay as well. He counters Namor, Penny, and Loki, and he's a solid person to damage Rocket's ultimate with. Not to mention, it's very easy to flank and get single picks with his uncombo. I've seen a lot of people say that his ultimate is one of the worst in the game, but people really don't know how to use his ultimate. You're supposed to ult, then you do the uncombo. The ult does enough damage to finish off opponents from the combo. And it's generally very easy to get a follow-up kill or 2 because ult separates their team. On average, I normally get 2 kills with it very consistently. And it's pretty common for me to hit close of 3 or 4 kills. All that being said, he's a situational DPS and has some hard counters. Even though it's pretty common to have good lineups to use him in, a lot of strong counters are some of the most banned people in the game. Now it seems that Moon Knight might be the most underrated flanker that nobody knows about just yet. Moon Knight counter characters like Namor, Loki, Penny, and Rocket ultimate. Like for Namor, he can break his rhythm, and for Loki, Moon Knight gonna be hard to hit due to his jump mobility, and for Penny, it's easy to burst down behind tanks like her. And for Rocket ultimate, he can interrupt or burst through quickly. Now the big question is, why he's underrated? Well, the first reason could be due to high skill floor. Moon Knight's movements, timing, and combo execution take practice. He's not a pick up and play type of character, so most players drop him after 2 bad games. The second reason I say is team utility isn't obvious. He lacks hard crowd control, healing, or shields. He's a selfish DPS, which makes him look bad even if not getting kills, especially in solo queue. Now for the third reason I say is low peak rate, which means low awareness. Most players don't see good Moon Knight, so they don't understand what a strong one can do. It's a feedback loop. And when I say feedback loop, I mean low peak equal low skill, which equal low recognition. And for the fourth reason could be the ultimate could be misunderstood. A lot of players think it's bad because it's not flash or guaranteed value like Storms or Star-Lords, but as the post mentions, it's about softening or isolating targets, not wiping teams outright. Anyways guys, make sure y'all give y'all thoughts and opinions on the video. I love y'all feedback. And also, do you guys think Moon Knight is underrated?